Yeah, my name's Dave, and my last name's Grebel, G-R-A-Y-B-I-L-L.
Okay.
And I started PatriotsGodandCountry.com, the Patriots God and Country Tour. I'm a former professional baseball player, fireman for 21 years, started one of the fastest growing nonprofits in the country, Pink Heels. Was an Olympic baseball player and a professional baseball player, but just love life. I mean, all the freedoms I have in the country provide the ability for anybody to have a dream. If you're willing to work hard enough and bring people in, you can do anything you want in the world. So I've been doing those things my whole life, and it just seemed perfect. 66 days ago I had an idea, and within 66 days I have 6 trucks that are patriotic. We're traveling across America, bringing love and hope, healing, faith, military might, the honor of rule of law for our police officers, a celebration of all those who have given their lives to give us the ability to do the things that we want to do, and that statue that's worth $250,000. I've got the Second Amendment. This is personal to me. If you don't have the Second Amendment, folks, no matter how you worry about people getting killed in accidents, if you do not have the Second Amendment, you have no amendments. You'll all be taken away from you. So if you don't want a gun, there's going to be someone next to you that's going to protect you eventually. So at the end of the day, the Second Amendment to me is one of the most important amendments we have, because it gives the middle class and the poor, the ones that don't belong to the government, aren't part of the military, aren't part of the police, the ability to stand up to any of them if they ever turned on us. They can look at foreign countries that have given their right, or given their guns up, or given the ability to have whatever gun they want. They lose all those freedoms that they thought they had. So we have a truck that represents the Second Amendment. I wish I could give you an exact number, but we've made about 8 stops. We just kind of started from Phoenix, Arizona. It's starting to get heavy now as we get into the middle part of the country. The Midwest going east down to the south to Florida, and then up the East Coast and get pretty busy. There's a lot of patriotic people. When I say patriot, it means everybody. It doesn't mean someone in the military or the police. It means me and you and I. It means this little kid over here, that he has a dream too, right? And nothing should shake him from following his dream. So that's what it's about, man. And at the end of the day, if we can't have faith or a place to go and heal, we're completely accepted regardless of all the people surrounding us, which is our churches and our faith. I don't care where you go to church, I love you. If you don't have that place to go to center yourself, then we crumble as a society. We become chaotic. So that's why we have a religious truck, a Christian truck, our freedom of religion. I can't get it started, so it hasn't joined the tour yet, but maybe in a week.
How many stops do you have left to go, and where will you end up?
I have 22. Good question on where we end up. I don't know. The idea was to go to Washington, D.C., but it's about how much conflict do I want. So it's one of those things that competitive guy, Former professional baseball player, you brought me in the 9th inning. I'll never let you down. I'm willing to risk it all just for you. I don't care about the money. I love you. I want to turn you on. Do I want to go to DC on election day? If I had help, if I had people guiding me in there to do a photo shoot, protecting us, I'd go there. So on election day, where could we end up that would be very profound? It hasn't happened yet, and I believe in spirituality and a calling. So something's going to happen to kind of narrate where we'll be on November 3rd.
How has the response been so far?
100%. So what's really cool about what we're doing, and if you shoot the pictures of the trucks, I think 99% of the whole country, maybe 98%, get turned on by those. They feel a sense of, that's my country. They're proud of where we're at, you know. So we're on pace, we're on target, right? To just inspire, man. I mean, again, I believe 96-98% of the country should control the narrative over the 3%. We're not perfect, but if 3% controls the narrative for 97%, that's like the worst guy on the baseball team getting to tell all the best guys to strike out. You wouldn't win. You wouldn't be a team. There'd be no synergy. So 3% can't create the narrative. 97% need to get better and inspire those 3% to get out of the rut they're in.
What message would you have for everybody here and everyone that you will see in the future at other cities?
First of all, we need help. So I fund this out of my own pocket. And so we need GoFundMe, patriotsgodandcountry.com, make a donation. Second of all, if you want to get profound, love each other, inspire each other, and never quit on our country. Our country, through symbolism, gives us all the abilities in the world to do whatever we want. But instead of being complacent, start electing real leaders, real selfless leaders. Leaders need to call to action on behalf of us, not their sponsors.
Okay, give us that website one more time.
Thank you. Patriots, God, and A-N-D, patriotsgodandcountry.com.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it.
Everybody please stand for the opening prayer by Jim Parsons. He is the Veterans Council chaplain. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you that we live in America where we're free to come and gather like this without any chance of fear of persecution. We thank you for this freedom. We thank you for our families, our faith. And this group is coming through today and on their way to Washington, D.C., spreading the good word and the gospel. Bless them and give them the wisdom, the courage, and the ability to do those things that would be pleasing to you. Also bless the group of Veterans Council who put on these programs that honor you and glorify you. And Lord, today, will you be with those who are consumed with the virus and suffering? Bring them comfort and peace. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Amen. The colors will be presented today by the Veterans Council Honor Guard. Host the colors. Yes.
Color guard, hold. Left, hey. Freeze it. Hold.
The National Anthem will be sung by Karen Frankfurt.
Oh, sing, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, he through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Will the Girl Scouts please come forward? We are honored today to have Girl Scout cadets from Girl Scout Troop 5018, and they will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. All veterans, please uncover and say it with us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Let's give a hand to these young ladies. They were on a moment's call. I just got a hold of them recently, and they responded right away. Very glad to come down here and be a part of this a great event that we're doing at the moment. So everybody please be seated.
Order. Take the group.
I always leave a moment in the ceremony to recognize celebrities. But as I look out, I see a bunch of is there anybody that's an elected official here today? Okay. We are honored also to have guest speakers here, and we will have a few minutes by each one of those. But today is, I'm recalling the last words, the last two phrases of the National Anthem. The land of the free and home of the brave. And that's what we're here to think about today. Today's colors are red, white, and blue. As you can see all around us, this red, white, and blue. So let me go ahead and introduce the first of our speakers, which is the Mayor of Bella Vista, Peter Christie.
Thank you, Ray. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so happy that you're here to join us. And we're in the shade, and that's a wonderful thing. I want to thank everybody on the Patriot Tour for including Bella Vista as part of your tour. It's an honor to have you here. It's also an honor to have been able to give you a truck many years ago so that you're able to wrap it and have it as part of the tour. We're also very proud that two of our own are included in your tour ensemble, and Barb Schrum, who's a retired lieutenant with the police force, and Seth Kallick, who is a captain currently active in our firefighter. I don't see Seth in. I'm sorry? He's at the chiropractor. What have you been doing out on the road? Oh, I'm going to make it short and sweet. These are Peter's comments. I'm not going to get into politics. This is a time in our nation where we have to start setting, or resetting perhaps, our moral compass. We've gone astray. And the Patriot Tour, I think, embodies those attributes that we need to get back to. It's country. It's God. It's the Constitution. It's the flag. And most of all, it's the ability to respect and honor one another, work together, and get things accomplished. We must get back to that as soon as possible. So I thank you for putting this together. I understand that you did it in 60 days. Remarkable. So ladies and gentlemen, let's give one more hand to the Patriot Tour.
Thank you, Mayor. Next, I'd like to introduce to you the person who put all this together, and that is Dave Grebel. I'm not sure of all the details, but every time I talk to him, it's something new, so I know there was a lot of planning and logistics and all of those sort of things it takes to put this together. We only heard about it a couple weeks ago, and you can see already the results of just a short notice. So I want to thank everybody for being here today, and hope you enjoyed the hot dogs. And now I'd like to introduce to you then Dave Grebel, who has put all this together. Dave?
Well, he gave me 2 minutes. I've never talked 2 minutes in my whole life, so I'll try and make it maybe a little bit longer than 2. First of all, Barb, and then Seth, who the mayor mentioned. Barb organized this whole thing in just 2 weeks, so that's amazing, because we've had some cities that we worked on for months, and it was hard to get people out. And Barb and Seth put this together in a short amount of time with their connection with the police departments, the sheriff's departments, the biker community, and of course the mayor's office, which is a huge testament, and I'm sorry, and also the veterans organizations as well, which is a huge testament to your community as a whole. So I appreciate that very much. For the bikers all over the country who are escorting us, they've been escorting me for 15 years. I've traveled over 450,000 miles to over 460 communities with my nonprofit that's all volunteer. I'm all volunteer for the last 15 years. To this new endeavor to celebrate the greatest country on earth by honoring our freedoms in this country based on our police officers and, most importantly, our veterans across the country that give me the ability, who never served. I serve them by doing this, who's never served in the military, because I would not have these freedoms if it wasn't for them risking their lives, even paying the ultimate price for me to be up here. We can never forget that. As a country, just like the mayor had just stated, we are forgetting, and we've gotten complacent, that what makes us a country is symbolism. Sometimes I have a hard time just following stuff that's just simple, because someone has to prove to me what I'm following is righteous and it's selfless. The American flag to me is righteous and selfless, because too many people like these folks risked their lives, gave up their lives for me to be able to do this. When they start taking symbolism away from us, when they stop teaching our kids the power of our country, the power of its military, the respect of its law enforcement, because without rule of law, we have chaos. Another most important thing in the world is religion and God. If we don't have a place to go and sit and be accepted and get away from what things that are driving us down, the negativity, the strength and courage it takes for people to go somewhere else and be able to sit, empower themselves, accept God, and feel good again. If they take that away from us, we have chaos. So this tour, I'm not telling you where to go to church. This tour, none of our drivers are telling you who to vote for. But I'm telling you right now, and you guys, if you research who I am and what I've done for the last 16, 17 years of my life, if you find a leader in this country that doesn't believe in our narrative, I would tell you right now, I wouldn't support him. Because at the end of the day, you the people, we the people, I serve you. I don't serve any sponsor. I serve you. I don't serve any other narrative. I celebrate you. I don't talk down to you. We're all equal, and every day the rest of my life, I will earn your respect. I do that as a volunteer, traveling thousands and thousands of miles to come here to this community with all these drivers to tell you I love you. And I do love you. And I will do anything for you. I can't go to war. I don't have a gun. But I tell you what, I take a bullet for every one of you. I love you, and I won't let you down. Every one of these drivers, please raise your hand. They commit years on these tours with me, days away from their families. They feel exactly the way I feel. And we'll accept anybody to go on tour. We'll accept all you volunteers. And anybody knows anybody that can help us at the next city we go to, I call on you to share the message. I've been censored on Facebook for sharing love, sharing the beliefs in this country. I haven't said anything negative, but they've censored me. Take these pictures, take these videos, and share them forward. It has to grow from the ground up. Communities like yours are the soul of this country. We need your help, and we're all volunteers. So can I have some money, please? No, we're selling t-shirts and we're paying for this out of our pocket. So I always forget to ask people to support us by making a donation or buying a t-shirt from us, please. And by all means, this park is a great reminder of what we need to do and celebrate. So keep donating to these organizations and keep supporting our veterans and our police officers. Don't let them go through this negative, this stuff that's being spewed all over the country. They're suffering. Even though they're alive and well, they're hurting on the inside. Don't allow it anymore. Speak up and be loud. It's an honor to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave. Yeah, it all takes money, doesn't it? Our keynote speaker today is a man who is well known in the veteran community in the local area and runs an organization out of Rogers, Arkansas that spans the United States. I think you're going to be very impressed with this young man who looks younger than he really is. His name is Sergeant Major Lance Nutt. He's from the United States Marine Corps, retired now. And he was sworn into the Marine Corps by his father, a retired Marine Corps naval aviator, in 1988. Early in his career and as a young Marine, Lance deployed to the Persian Gulf as part of combat operations during Operation Desert Storm and Shield. After Desert Storm, Lance attended the University of Arkansas at Monticello for 4 years, where he pursued a dual major in business management and communications. He returned to the Corps in 1995, serving as a Marine recruiter and a recruiter instructor until the year 2000. Lance was recruited out of the Marine Corps in 2000 to manage corporate sales for major retail marketing companies in northwest Arkansas. In 2002, and with the war on terror in full swing, Lance found himself longing to serve again, and he joined the 3rd Battalion, 24th Marines in 2003, and immediately found himself gearing up for a combat tour in Iraq. Lance served in Iraq in 2004, 2006, 2009, and 2010. Lance served with 4th Recon Battalion, San Antonio, Texas, in 2011 and 12. In 2015, he completed a successful 3-year tour as a Sergeant Major of 4th Force Reconnaissance Company out of Alameda, California. I hope that's the way you pronounce that. Before finishing his career in September of 2018 as a Sergeant Major of the 23rd Marine Regiment, headquartered in San Bruno in California. Lance officially retired from the Marine Corps in November of 2018, finishing 30 years of honorable service to his country. In the wake of Hurricane Katrina in 2005, Lance felt compelled to use his military training and experience to help others in need. Along with the support of friends and family, he led an independent relief effort straight into the heart of Katrina, the aftermath following. The experience of helping others during Hurricane Katrina eventually led Lance to found his own organization called Sheepdog Impact Assistance, SDIA, in 2010. Inspired by a desire to continue servicing his country beyond the Corps, and knowing that others like him, fellow sheepdogs, needed an outlet for continued service, Lance built the foundation for SDIA, a nationally recognized nonprofit with more than 50,000 members today. That's quite impressive. And these members are comprised of all volunteers and supporters across the country. As a dependent of a Marine and as a 30-year Marine himself, Lance understands and appreciates the daily sacrifices of our nation's sheepdogs and their families. He hopes that we, as a nation, will always remember the sacrifices made by our nation's heroes, known as sheepdogs, who proudly guard our nation and our daily lives. These are the men and the women serving so proudly in our military, in law enforcement, in fire and rescue, and medical services, emergency medical services. Lance currently lives in Northwest Arkansas. He is the blessed father of 3 young children, Katie, who's 13, Connor, who's 11, and McKenna, who is 8. So let's give him a large round of applause. Lance.
I don't know if I need it or not. How about that? Sometimes,
Sergeant Major.
does that work? The staff? Can we hear that, staff? My staff's always giving me a hard time on whether I need a microphone or not. And you can blame the Marine Corps on whether I'm too loud, right? They train sergeants majors to be a little boisterous at times, and it's been hard to dispel that within myself. Now, I do have to share something you may not have noticed up there, and that's that I graduated boot camp roughly 32 years ago this week. And I went to Parris Island, South Carolina, where it is famous for its sand fleas eating you alive while you're in formation or PT or whatever it might be. Well, I have to tell you, the Northwest Arkansas Gnats have been giving them a run for their money the last 10 minutes while I've been sitting up front. Hey, today's powerful for a lot of different reasons, right? We are in obviously a trying time in the history of our country, especially when we look at the way certain aspects of who and what we are as a nation are being attacked. Whether it's our law enforcement community, the ideals behind who and what we are as Americans, our choice to believe or not believe, our decisions on who we vote for and who we elect. I grew up during a time when none of that really mattered. Because as Americans, it didn't matter. You supported one another, maybe you disagreed, but it did not come to the level of what we see today. Because when I was growing up, it was called respectful disagreement, right? Where I could be your neighbor, I could be your friend, and we could still agree to disagree and spend time together. We could enjoy one another. Because the most important thing we had was that of being fellow Americans. And symbols like you see today, this Patriot tour across America, we shouldn't have to have it as a reminder of insistence, but just as a reminder of commonality. That we as Americans, as the greatest nation on earth, which is not a matter of opinion, it's a matter of fact, that we should be able to spend time together and use this tour as a reflection of what makes us the greatest nation on earth. And that is the men and women who are willing to sacrifice and ultimately die for us. It's because of that willingness to serve, that willingness to sacrifice, and that willingness to fight for their nation, their communities, and for one another. Because that is what binds us and makes us the greatest nation on this planet. And what I ask, if anything, as you reflect on the monument behind me and in front of you, is that you think about the men and women whose names are on these walls. And the symbolism behind this tour is the men and women that are willing to serve and sacrifice. And that we must not, we cannot continue as a nation unless we are first willing to remember that service and sacrifice. Because if we reflect, as many of us do on a daily basis, about a certain man who was willing to die for all of us roughly 2,000 years ago, we look at that as something pretty powerful, something pretty special. Now, I'm not trying to create an equivalency between our men and women in uniform and Jesus Christ. But the fact that someone is willing to die for you speaks volumes. The men and women that serve and sacrifice today are willing to do just that, right? They get up every morning knowing that today might be the day that I do not come home to my family. Whether it's a law enforcement officer, someone serving in fire and rescue, or a service member in some godforsaken country overseas that is willing to serve, sacrifice, and if need be, ultimately die for you and I. We cannot take that for granted. We must not forget that willingness to pay the ultimate sacrifice. Now, when I talk about a willingness to fight, it's a willingness to fight hand to hand if necessary, to serve on the front lines, whether it's in a community here at home or a country far away. But more importantly, it's about the willingness to fight for what's right. The willingness to fight for one another. The willingness to fight for our country, our fellow Americans, and the ideals that make us the greatest nation on earth. Today's a special day because it's giving us the chance to remember and honor those men and women. This tour is about remembering and honoring that service, sacrifice, and willingness to fight. Now, what I ask of you as fellow Americans is that you never forget and that you in turn are willing to fight for those men and women who have been willing to die for you. Fight through your voice. Fight through your actions. Through voting because it's your right. Or practicing your religion because it's your right. By making sure that we do not lose the freedoms that the men and women who have died for us in making the ultimate sacrifice, we don't squander that. We don't waste that willingness to die for you and I. We don't waste that willingness to serve and sacrifice. I personally would like to say thank you. Thank you for enabling me to serve in the greatest nation there has ever been. Very possibly might ever be, if we're not real careful in ensuring that we do not lose it. Right. It's up to us. Thank you on behalf of the men and women that have had the honor to serve, the privilege to fight for all of us. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for allowing me to say a few words. And may God bless this nation of ours. Thank you.
I heard Lance mention all of the gnats over there around his chair, and I just had a chance to experience that. I'm not real sure that you seem to kind of swarm in there for some reason. You're welcome to move it, because I don't know why they're kind of swarming seems to be in that area, but at any rate, great speech, Lance. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much. The world of the Veterans Council that I represent, and all of the people around you see in the blue T-shirts are members of the Veterans Council of Northwest Arkansas, and I have the honor to be presently the president of this great organization. We have come a long ways. It's been 19 years since some veterans got together in a building that used to stand right over there, the VFW, and they decided that we needed to have a memorial for honoring veterans. And we have grown since then. Originally, we were a board of 12 people, and just this year we have seen the need to open up our organization to everyone as members, but I must add dues-paying members because we do need that financial support. And so on the table over here you'll see a couple of guys that are there with a lot of paper in front of them. Those are applications to become members of organizations. So I invite everybody to go over there and sign up and become a member. This great day gives us a chance to remember a lot of things. And I want you to just kind of look around at this 2.5 acres that the Veterans Council owns, and we have been maintaining now for almost 20 years. And you see this sidewalk we just put in there the last couple of years. You see the wall of honor that was put in there in sections, starting in the center and moving outward until we had all of the walls filled with names and history that we can provide to those people who visit this wonderful monument. We have a school just on the other side of the creek over there that makes regular visits here to look at the names and understand some of the displays that we have inside this wall of honor to memorialize our veterans. And that is the mission of the Veterans Council, to honor and to memorialize veterans. We have plans to expand this since this wall is full, no more space for names. All of this area right here in the middle of this walk around will be developed in the future. We have drawings, and we have gone through the engineering. We now have city permits, which is going to allow us to proceed. And what you will see in the future, hopefully very soon, all depends on the COVID-19, how soon we can get out and to start beating the bushes for the money that we need. Or if anybody is here today that would like to go ahead and contribute to that, we have a special fund that is being set aside for this edition. But just picture in your minds, one day right in this corner we'll be setting an FA-18 Blue Angel aircraft. We have already been approved to receive one. The question is, when will one be available? And so we're in line with a lot of people. My concern is that they're going to give me a phone call one day and say, we have an aircraft, are you ready? We'll have to answer no. So we have to be proceeding along that course. If something happens and we happen to develop later or cannot get the F-18, we'll get one from the Air Force. And I have 22 years of service in the Air Force, know a little bit about aircraft, and I know we can get a different one if we have to. But I sure look forward to that Blue Angel aircraft sitting right there in the corner. Just beyond that will be a 45-foot diameter pad with 5 32-foot circular pads around that, all enclosed in walls, which will have different information on it and a lot of space for more names of veterans that we can add to that. So I just want you to look at that. How many people here have not been to the Wall of Honor before? I see a few, not too many. But there are 4,800 names on the wall behind me of veterans of this local area. So as you walk through there, take a look at the displays and the amount of information and the history that you can absorb from just what you see there, including, by the way, the pictures of all of the presidents who have served in our military, all the way up through Bush. So I'm glad everybody come out today. I want to thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed yourself. And there's a couple of people that I would like to extend additional thanks to, and that is the providers of our hot dogs. The money came from Drive-In Investments. That's a good company. If you have a chance, you might talk to them about your investments. Also, Allen's grocery store, which is just right over around. Everybody knows where Allen's is. They provided the hot dogs and some ice. And also the cooks who come from Concordia. And so they put everything together over there on the other side of the tree. So let's have a big round of applause for them. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to the musicians who will play a patriotic song, "This Is My Country." You're right, yes. I'm sorry, I missed something here. I don't know how I did that. Anyway, it's the service songs. We always play the service songs. So the orchestra will play the service song, and for our veterans, when your song is played, please stand up so we can acknowledge you. That was the United States Army.
That's right. Now the Marines.
These songs go rolling along. Okay.
Now the Marines. 1, 2, 1, 2. Navy. Anchors away. Yes. Navy. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, and you're in. Okay? 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Sempre 48 is where we start. Okay. Two measures of 2. 1, 2, 1, 2.
United States Coast Guard. Please Lois, please continue with This Is Our Country.
Okay. One measure of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the Ecumenical Church Orchestra. Thank you very much for coming and providing the music for us today. I also want to thank Karen Frankenfield for coming, and also the Girl Scouts. Thank you again. We're going to close the program today by singing a hymn, which is also a very strong prayer. I've heard it said many, many times that when you sing a prayer, you pray twice. And so I would like for all of us to stand and to join in this as we sing together. God bless America.
Service
The Honor Guard will now retire the colors. All veterans, please face the colors. And salute.
Present.